foremost, I want to present about introduction to archive. The name of our archive university is known as the Tan Sri Ainuddin Wahid Archive. Basically, digital archival materials are very important in our university. We need to digitize and preserve all of the materials to prevent damage or loss from happening. According to Chen 2007, digital preservation is the preservation of rare and delicate materials and objects through digitalization utilizing computers and other electronic devices. It is necessary to figure out how to represent the information that was first displayed to people using a mix of hardware and software tools working on data. Other than that, we need to prepare to have a backup of the records, which means that the records in the system also need to be made if any damage or loss happens to the raw materials. The materials available in our archive should be used for a long time and future reference.
Next, I will continue about Tan Sri Ainuddin Wahid Archive. Our archive has its own vision, mission and objective as you can see now. Now, we're moving on to the intended audience. Firstly, its administrative units have immediate access to the permanent record which contain material that determine and promote the institution's image. Secondly, students of the university itself can get to know an institution by learning about its past and putting themselves in the time and place. Thirdly, is a faculty which can do research in the unique collection that document the wide range of intellectual history. Fourth is alumni which can keep all ties with the university and make one use by having easy access to material that show their connections. Lastly is researchers can use archival collection because they are reliable. As you can see, this is our logo of Tan Sri Ainuddin Wahid Archive and the meaning of each element. Now we move to the floor plan of our archive, which is Tan Sri Ainuddin Wahid Archive that have 4 main areas, which is public areas, staff areas, storage area and processing area.
Next, we move to the problem statement. First of all is material fragility. The material itself is something that is prone to being broken and quickly deteriorating. Next is format changes. The problem if the material is not digitized is even though we have made the physical process of preservation, the threat of deteriorating for the materials are afraid to be accounted. This is the lack of funding. There will be also a problem towards the funding as the process of keeping the material will be costly and some of institutions will not be able to afford the process.
Next, I will continue to present about objective of efficient preservation of digital archive in our organization. Firstly is to build procedures and technologies which is make strategic decisions based on long-term resources, system sustainability and fund efficiency. Secondly is to convert records into forms suitable for long-term access and preservation if necessary. Besides, is also to reduce the amount of time and space. The next objective is to encourage and improve the capacity for digital preservation in order to safeguard the information's effective usage. Other than that, it also to make the resources accessible to everyone worldwide, and last but not least, the objective is to serve as a backup of the records.
The table above shows the timeline digitization process of original material to convert into digitization form that needs to follow the sequence of activities. For the first month, we plan to do inventory selection of material, which is the material that have value records. After selecting material, we do preparation for material that need to know by repository department for material retrieval and record every movement into logbook. For the third month, we examine the physical condition of the material to ensure that material is not damaged. Then examine of the order of content where each page is sufficient according to the sequence based on the minute paper number on the file. After examination, we do digitization process, which is the material will be taken to acoustic room or digitization studio to perform the scanning process. Then we need to do double check the quality of file in form of MPG, PDF or MP4. After a double check, there are some actions such as returning original material and label the box to ensure digitized archival material should label or stamp.
Now we move to recommendation for effective digital preservation. Firstly is refreshing. Refreshing known as the process of transferring data between two different varieties of the same storage medium. Secondly is bitstream copying. The term copying bitstream also refer to the process of backupping out your data. Thirdly is technology preservation. Technology preservation is focused on preserving the system technical environment. Next is migration. Migration is the process of copying and converting data from one type of hardware or software to another while keeping the data's most important features. Finally is analog backup, which is combine the process of turning digital object into analog.
Next type of materials or collection need to be digitized in university. Firstly is books. This is well to be said that the process of converting hard copies of physical books into soft copies in digital forms. These conversions are often carried out using scanning, either manual or automatic image scanner, which carefully examine the book's content and record it in a useful online tool. Nowadays, searching for information in books is easier by search using e-books, which is electronic books. Academic institutions keeping all of these physical copies means having to hire more space and costs also increase. Hence, by digitizing, university may quickly save a significant amount of space while simultaneously lowering their overall rent production. Other than that, journal and article. Journals and articles are very important material, especially for student and lecturer to do research. Next, these materials are digitized from printed material to online form on the website. Students and researchers can easily find information or journal and articles in system database such as Emerald Insight, Science Direct, and Google Scholar. Last but not least, journal and article have a large number of pages so that students do not need to print these materials. Instead, they can directly download the materials from the website and immediately it can save costs and make their work easier. Next is newspaper. Newspapers are also available in universities. Basically, these newspapers are always available in the library, but nowadays, printed newspapers have decreased because people prefer to find out about world news online, whether on social media, news application, or other online platform. Because of this, our newspaper also need to be digitized because today's technology makes them prefer to use electronic materials instead of printed materials. Lastly, the collection need to be digitized in university is audiovisual materials such as tape, CD, slide, and others. According to the technological sophistication of today, audiovisual materials need to be digitized because today's user will not use materials in physical forms. For example, tapes. Nowadays, people no longer use this medium, which is the traditional way. In fact, the material is no longer used nowadays because movies or recordings are available online and controlled by computer.
Next, I will explain about what is digitization. Digitization is the process of turning information and document into a form that a computer can read. The result will be a picture, sound, document, or signal, usually an analog signal, that is made up of a set of points or samples that are described by a series of numbers. So, the step in digitization, we are using a scanner to take a picture of an image or text, which can then be turned into an image file like a bitmap. Then, we also will be using optical character recognition or OCR to continue the digitization process. An OCR program looks at the light and dark part of a text image to find each other letter or number. It also changes each other into American Standard Code or for information interchange, which then can be readable. The next step is recording, which involves putting a sound or image in a medium for recording like magnetic tape or disc and turning it into the digital format. Sampling is the last step, in which the amplitude or signal strength of an analog waveform is measured at evenly spaced points in time.
Advantages of digital archive. First is safe originals of important heritage resources. In most cases, there may be just one copy of an essential paper or physical document that is in high demand. If the original document is digitized, the original copy can be stored securely, while the other copy are made available to the users. Secondly is improved access. If the original document is digitized, the original copy can be stored securely, while the other copy are made available to users. Thirdly is save space and cut on stuffing. With the help of efficient digitization program, all of the collection can be stored in a well-maintained file system on a single piece of computer storage space. Lastly is complete data security. Digitalizing the document may protect and restrict access to the document using passcode and other security measures.
Next is roles and responsibilities. So there are 4 job positions or departments in our digital archive. So first is archive manager. Archive manager are involved and also responsible in decision making and also contribute information, policies and practice. Secondly is IT, information technology unit. They are responsible to ensuring and enforcing data security and also overseeing the development of automated tools and workflow for processing and preserving data and its associated contents. Thirdly is preservation specialist. Preservation specialist is responsible to recommend the long-term period preservation and access to the digital archive material. Fourthly is metadata specialist. Metadata specialist is responsible to check and make sure the digital material is reported according to the standard policies. And lastly is content specialist. Content specialists are responsible to evaluate, choose, obtain, handle, and curate the digital materials. And also establish a standard that define the scope of the activities and the process.
Next is disaster management. Firstly is system backup, which is as a part of standard operating procedure, agencies should execute system-wide backup of all company data regularly with a focus on identifying and duplicating critical digital record and those of archival importance. Secondly is duplication and dispersal of vital digital record. The most effective way to safeguard critical digital record is to duplicate them and keep the duplicates in secure off-site storage. Thirdly is planning for technological obsolescence. Agency must guarantee that the necessary technology is available to make a digital record usable and accessible. It is not enough to just keep the document in digital format. Next is securing digital records and system. Set up network security systems such as firewalls to prevent unauthorized access, for example hackers, to system access via the external connection such as the internet. Last but not least is security and authentication mechanism. Within a record keeping system, access control should be implemented and maintained, so employees should be discouraged from using software tools to generate password or restrict access to organization records.
Next is the security of digital materials of our digital archive. So there are 4 security are involved and applied in our digital archive. So first is firewall. So firewall is a security network that designed to protect a computer system of our archive and network from malicious attacks. Secondly is antivirus. Our organization also apply the Bitdefender as the antivirus of our system or our digital archive, where it designed to protect from insider attacks and also can detect or recognize the virus. Thirdly is data destruction. We also use data destruction as our security because it completely deletes all data and not be recovered by unauthorized personnel. And lastly, it's a method of disposal and invaluable and unusable of digital materials. And lastly is authentication and authorization. Authentication is tighten the permission to access the data and the content of the material in the system provided, while authorization is access control that managed by organization, where organization play a roles to accept and deny the permission for the users.
Next is insurance management. In making, why do we need to get an insurance? It is because one of the methods that will be useful in order to coping with the risk. Property insurance seems to be the type of insurance that we would like to use. A property insurance usually covers certain weather-related dangers such as damage from fire, smoke, wind, hail, the weight of snow, and ice, like lightning and much more. Vandalism and theft are also covered by property insurance, which protect both the building and its content. We would like to choose AIU, which is Amalgamated Insurance Underwriters from USA, where it has what it takes in order to make the protection towards the property.
Budget for types equipment of hardware. For the desktop, the budget within 2,400. Optical drive 30 ringgit. For projector 2,100. Then scanner maps RM 4,699. And paper reader machine RM 2,918. In common software like Microsoft Office, Gmail, for Google Cloud we need to pay RM 200 when reach the limit. Hardware and malware is security software to avoid from virus, so that we need to pay RM50 for every month. Last, software is scanner and digital imaging, which is we need this software to ensure have a good quality of image. There are 4 standard compliance that we apply for develop digitization preservation material, which is information and record management standard to ensure all information record remain authentic, reliable, discoverable, accessible, usable, and protected. Second is ULAD 19 Digital Preservation Policy to identify digital asset to be preserved across new generation technologies. Next is Digital Information Security Policy that provide principle and procedure to protect digital information. and digital service also provide strategy to manage the risk of resources. Last standard is ISO 14721 Space Data and Information Transfer System Open Archival Information System OAIS, which is provide framework for the understanding and increase awareness of archive.
Next, I will explain about the SWOT analysis. First of all is strength. First strength is improving data safety and security. Next is quick and easy document access. For employees who deal with a lot of paperwork or data, especially in large amount, it is being able to get the information quickly and easily. Next is standardized workflow. Once all the data is saved in the same digital place, it is much easier to make sure that every employee is doing their task and filing document in the same way. Next is weakness. The first weakness is data loss. Data loss is one of the biggest problems with digital preservation. Losing or misplacing data is a problem for both business and people. Next is rapid evolution of technology. Next is lack of standards. Standards are needed to deal with problems caused by the fact that digital information doesn't last forever. Next, we move on to the threat. One of the most difficult aspects is required person with a great skill and accuracy to make the material digitized, as it need to be 100% accurate with the actual material. Next is the sustainability of record. It is challenging to create and maintain a plan for long-term sustainability of the digital archive that is cost-effective, meet the requirement, and can be audited and rechecked. Next is the opportunity. The first opportunity is maximal the accessibility for the material, as everyone can get access to the record document.
For the conclusion, preservation of records material is an important thing that aims to extend the lifespan of archival materials for research purpose. This digitization is welcomed by archivists and any organization that keeps records because it helps in simplify the process of preservation of materials. The resulting this framework will be able to help build a more advanced digital preservation of archive and emphasize the importance of preservation of archival materials.